Top of the morning. Welcome in, Niner gang. We're waking up to some crazy news this morning. Um NFL finally came out with the decision on the Deshaun Watson suspension. It'll be 11 games and he also gets fined $5 million. Now both sides took part in this agreement. That's the key word right there. So Deshaun Watson negotiated his end. He pled his case, and the NFL wanted their really high um, decision, like a higher suspension, probably the full year. So they met about halfways at 11 games, and of course that $5 million fine is included in that as well. And if you guys hear any background noise, I'm sorry. My cranky kids are waking up right now. But yeah, man. Deshaun Watson, 11 game suspension. What does this mean for the 49ers? There was a lot of headlines coming out that the Browns were going to be interested in Jimmy Garoppolo if Deshaun Watson was going to be suspended for the whole season. They were still definitely going to take a look at Garoppolo and see what they can do to get him. Now, this isn't a full season suspension, but if you ask me, that's basically the whole season. That 11 out of 17 games for the season. So that's about what, three quarters of the season. And so will the Browns still be interested in trading for Garoppolo? I don't know, but in a way, I would kind of think so. Garoppolo would like to get out of here and have a chance to be successful. And who knows, man? That team in Cleveland is built pretty well to where Jimmy Garoppolo can have some success. Luckily, I'll double check, but I'm almost 100% sure we don't play the Browns this year. Um, with those longer schedules, sometimes some teams kind of get forgotten about. But Jacoby Brissett, are they gonna want to stick with him for those 11 games and let Deshaun Watson jump in there that 12th game and kind of take over the reins? If Brissett is the one playing those first 11 games, it all depends on how he's doing as well, right? I don't know how confident they feel in him, but they might be more confident in somebody like Garoppolo, who's had a team around him that that when he has a solid team around him, he can show some very successful attributes and things for the team overall. So that's a question I have for you guys, and I posted it in the comments. If you guys could click on that poll and chime in. Let me know what you think the Cleveland Browns are feeling towards Garoppolo still. Like I said, that's a pretty good chunk of the season, 11 games out of 17. I would think they'd still be interested, but who knows at the end of the day. Um, I know Garoppolo's definitely seems ready to kind of just fly out of here already, fly off the 49ers and go start somewhere else. I'm sure he's very antsy to get into his new playbook and figure out what he can do to better whichever team he's going to and better his career, give himself a good chance to be successful. And I think the 49ers kind of owe that to him as well. So I would like to see them play into that and help Garoppolo out in a way, even though I know his surgery kind of set us back with the trade and everything. And who knows, maybe the Cleveland Browns were the ones that made the offer back in the beginning of the offseason. I kind of doubt it because they were pretty quick to jump on Deshaun Watson, but you never know. If Garoppolo would have been healthy before the whole thing with Deshaun Watson, then maybe they would have uh, jumped on Garoppolo first, not knowing that Deshaun Watson was going to be available to them. So in a way, they kind of lucked out, but maybe for the long run, definitely not for this season as far as Deshaun Watson, because of course he's not going to be there for those first 11 games, but maybe Jacoby Brissett can carry them to a 50-50 um, 500 par season till Deshaun Watson gets to jump in there. Then Deshaun Watson kind of takes over and they roll into the postseason and start making some noise. A lot of other teams, if the Browns do end up in the playoffs and Deshaun Watson's in there, they're not going to have a whole lot of time to prepare for what the Browns are going to come out with. So that's probably going to be something dangerous for the rest of the NFL to look forward to. So I don't think that's going to be a lot of great news. But if the Browns do go with Brissett, and even if they go with Garoppolo, and whichever quarterback they have is dropping the ball on that, and they're losing a lot of games, and it's not going to matter whether Deshaun Watson gets in there at the end or not, because they're eliminated from the postseason, then it's not going to matter very much, is it? But I'm really curious to see what the Browns decide to do, if they're just going to want to stick with Jacoby Brissett or get Garoppolo as a backup and let him kind of get assimilated. As far as if this is an 11 game suspension, then Garoppolo's going to have enough time to jump in the playbook and learn it, and probably take the first few games of the regular season off. He can practice alongside Jacoby Brissett in the meantime. Jacoby Brissett can play the first couple games, and then the Browns can kind of go from there and retrade Garoppolo, or let him start, or just keep him as backup, because who knows, maybe during Deshaun Watson's suspension, Jacoby Brissett, he might get injured. So then who takes the job then, you know? So they might want Garoppolo as insurance, especially if him and Garoppolo and his agent can discuss or negotiate a new contract to where he can go to them cheaper. And who knows, maybe he'll get somewhere around 16 million, which is still kind of win-win, because the Browns do have the cap space to take on his full contract at this time. But I'm sure they're going to want to get the most bang for their buck. Maybe they can use that cap space to get Garoppolo, and I'm sure he'd be happy with 16 million. You know, who wouldn't be? But um, I don't know how he feels about his finances in that way. But if they can get Garoppolo cheaper, like at 14, 16, maybe even 12 million, then they have space to sign some free agent wide receivers, or basically any positions of need that they have that they feel they should go after. So that's definitely something to look for them. So there's definitely still a chance. Don't everybody lose hope that Garoppolo is not going to get the chance to go to the Browns. There's still a definite chance, in my opinion. And we'll see, man. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on that, so I can talk about it in my next video. But I do have a couple other topics that I'm just gonna kind of lean into, because just add to this video, and I might add them to my next video. But the first one is, I was just kind of laying here thinking yesterday about our week 1 matchup versus the Bears, and Trey Lance, how he's gonna do in that. And then I was like, how did Jimmy Garoppolo do versus the Bears? And it's gonna be pretty interesting to compare how the Bears they're pretty similar, I would say, to last year, and just to kind of see how the matchup is between Lance and the Bears versus Jimmy Garoppolo and the Bears. I think that's going to be a pretty fun film study to go after, and um, maybe even speculate ahead of time the differences. But that's just something curious that I'm kind of looking forward to compare and contrast the two starts versus the two different starters in two different seasons versus the same team. But another thing is that Lance, I saw some of the highlights, that I do want to post some of the highlights as well on my channel, that Lance is having with the Vikings. But one of the talks that was going on for training camp, and even in my reaction to the preseason game versus the Packers, was Lance in his check downs, his short throws. He tends to throw very hard and high, And luckily in that one throw he had to Ross Dwelly, that he did throw it to Ross Dwelly, and Ross Dwelly was his receiver because Dwelly has very good hands. He has very sticky hands. But hopefully that's something that Lance is working on, and I'm very curious to see how that progresses during the even just the preseason. But I mean, everything in those highlights is looking great, man. You would think those are highlights of like a whole week of training camp, but that was just one day, and he's looking like a real badass out there. So that's pretty cool. And he's not having to go against our defense that knows the offense right now. So yeah, that's really cool, and I'm looking forward to seeing more highlights from him. Of course, I'm very confident in him, but we're gonna have to wait and see. And another one was with all these injuries, very concerning, right? But Debo Samuel had the same problem before last season, and in the off season he did his workouts, which I don't know. He was doing some yoga and stuff like that, and it seemed like that had a really big impact on his health. He was like a monster last year. Like, you know what? Here we got Brian in here again. What's up, Brian? Good morning, bro. Yeah, what's up, faithful Niner gang? Yeah, I hope you're doing good today, bro. We're in here talking about the Deshaun Watson news. I don't know if you heard about that. Um, but yeah, back again to Debo Samuel. Um, he came out like a monster last year. He was basically like uninjurable in a way. The way they leaned on him last year, and he was almost like bending but not breaking. And so I think a lot of the teammates that are injured right now, and even the ones that aren't, if they haven't, I really hope they go and talk to Debo about what he did. I think he was doing some yoga and stuff like that. A lot of stuff with stretching. I hope they're taking their stretching very seriously. And from what I hear as well, what's been speculated on about the injuries is most of these, if not all, these injuries seem to have happened right after a day off. So each time that one of these veterans or one of these members of the 49ers had a day off of training camp, that when they got back the next day is when apparently their muscles were probably still tight, and just kind of tore a little bit. They got injured because these guys all pretty much have the same injury for the most part. It's all hamstring, right? So hopefully they talk to Debo about that and get some advice, kind of get into a routine with him as well. And I hope he's still sticking with that routine. I hope, and I'm sure that he was very encouraged about what what his body was put through last year and the outcome that he was still healthy at the end of the season. So I'm sure he was very encouraged about that, and was raving to his teammates about it. So we'll see. But another thing I was talking about yesterday was the offensive line, and um, sounds like Jordan Mills, um, if they're not already thinking about it, the press is already seeing it, that Jordan Mills is probably going to be that second string under McGlinchey, even though McKivitz has been doing good. It just seems like Jordan Mills is over the top as far as pretty much looking like the best offensive lineman on the 49ers right now. So that's pretty badass to hear, man, that we grabbed him as a free agent and very recently, and he's already showing very good things like that. That's pretty crazy. And what I think is, of course, I think they're giving him time to learn the playbook first, is why he's not that second string player right now. And like I said, McKivitz is doing good. Jordan Mills is winning his one-on-ones, but he needs to get more reps and more mental notes in that playbook. And I think he's going to do very great, man. I'm looking forward to what Jordan Mills can do, taking some weight off McGlinchey, definitely. Um, yeah, and we'll see what Willie Snead. I haven't heard very much about Willie Snead, but I know he's a pretty solid guy, and he has yet to show up. But from the little that I do hear, he's just basically just that. He's another camp body. He's pretty solid, but he's not wowing anybody yet. But I think he did pancake block Drake Jackson like last week. So that's pretty awesome, man. That's a wide receiver against a defensive end. That's pretty wild to hear about. You don't hear that very often, if at all. That's something you would hear from like some news from George Kittle or a offensive lineman, of course, right? You'd hear that from like a Trent Williams, a George Kittle, but this was a wide receiver, Willie Snead. He pancaked Drake Jackson, and this is confirmed. This isn't no BS. But yeah, man, I just wanted to come bring in that news about Deshaun Watson getting that 11-game suspension and that $5 million fine. We'll see. Brian, let me know. Everybody else, let me know as well what you guys think as far as if the Browns are still going to be interested in Jimmy Garoppolo, like they said they were, per reports. I think they are. Like I said, 11 games is a lot. That's most of the season. If Jacoby Brissett goes down, why not have a backup like Jimmy Garoppolo that can be very successful with the solid team around him? Yeah, why not, right? So again, let me know what you guys think. That's what I think. Very big possibility that they're still interested, but who knows at the end of the day. Hopefully we get some news here soon about that. And I'm very curious to see if he's going to be on the team week 1. Of course, Kyle Shanahan did say that if nobody trades for Garoppolo, that he will just be cut on August 30th, the final cut day for the 53-man roster. So, yeah, man, it's getting pretty close here. We're on the 18th. That's 12 days. So we should be finding out here soon. I hope you guys have a great day. Keep tuning in, Niner Gang. Brian, I appreciate you. Everybody else who chimes in, I appreciate you. Don't forget to leave a like, please. Please subscribe. Really helps me out. I would love to be able to do this one day full time. I'm really passionate about the 49ers, have been my whole life. So, yeah, man, any all comments, subscriptions, they all go towards supporting me to one day do this full time. One of my goals and visions for next year would be to attend 49ers training camp. I am in Arizona right now. I'm from Salinas, California. I've been in Arizona for 5 years now. So I didn't get to go to training camp this year just because of I already took a lot of trips and a lot of time off work this last month for family and ceremony and stuff like that. So next year, that's one of my goals, like I said, is to be at the 49ers training camp, be able to do this full time, man. So I appreciate you guys. I hope you guys have a great day, and we'll see. Oh, you know what? We got Brian here real quick. If it happens, it will be today. Oof. I don't know. That's a tough one. Because so if this news came out this morning to us, I'm sure the 49ers knew about this yesterday. So that is a possibility. The sooner the better. If that's how they feel about it, I don't know how soon the Browns found out about this. Like I said, Watson and the NFLPA, as well as the commissioner and all them, the whole NFL they took part in this decision. So Deshaun Watson, he's been in the loop. So I'm sure he was with the Browns, letting them know what's going on. So they've had an idea. They've kind of had time to think about this decision, whether they want to go after somebody else. And like I said, man, they don't have to get Garoppolo at 27 million, even though they could afford it. They don't have to. They can definitely negotiate with him, especially since it's only going to be 11 games, and then they can throw Deshaun Watson in there. He's a bridge quarterback as of right now. So if it happens, it will be today. I'm not so sure. Maybe tomorrow, but You might be right, Brian. It might be very, very soon. Like I said, they've probably had a little bit of time to think about it. With being in the loop with Deshaun Watson. And thank you, Brian. Appreciate you. Hope you have a great day. And I'm gonna sign out on that note.